It's late. The house has finally gone quiet, and you're standing in the kitchen staring at the one counter that refuses to stay clear. You wipe it, you walk away, and by morning it's covered again. Here's what I promise you tonight. These 17 evening routines take just a few quiet minutes, and they keep your rooms neat on their own, so you wake up to a home that already feels finished. I learned every one of these from years of living with and studying Japanese homes, where small nightly habits do the work that big weekend cleanups never manage. And the routine I ranked number 1 is the one that quietly reset my entire living room in under 60 seconds a night. It borrows a 400-year-old idea from the traditional Japanese home, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Every single one of these works in a tiny apartment or a rental, with no drilling and no permission. So let's count them down. Let's start at number 17. And it's the one I almost skipped for years because it felt too simple to matter. Before bed, I go to my entryway, my genkan, and I take 10 seconds to turn every pair of shoes so the toes point toward the door. That's it. In Japanese homes, the genkan is sacred, the border between the outside world and your calm inside, and shoes are always aligned, facing out, so you can slip them on and leave without fumbling. I doubted this one, honestly. But the first morning I walked out to a neat row of shoes, all pointing the same way, my whole exit felt smoother, like the day had been set up in my favor. A messy pile at the door is the first thing you see coming home, and the last thing you see leaving. Clear it, and the whole entry reads as calm. It's a tiny win, but it primes everything else. Because if the door is calm, you're far more likely to keep the next zone calm too. Which brings me to the next one. Number 16 is the floor rule, and this one changed how my rooms photograph in my own memory. Every night, I make sure nothing is sitting on the floor that doesn't belong there. No bags, no laundry piles, no stray boxes, nothing. In Japanese design, the floor is treated as open, breathing space, not as extra shelving. Clutter on the floor is what your eye reads as mess, even more than a busy shelf. Therefore, when the floor is clear, your brain registers the whole room as tidy, even if a drawer somewhere is chaos. I test this constantly. I can have a slightly full counter, but if my floors are bare, guests always say my place feels serene. It takes me about 90 seconds to sweep the floor with my eyes and lift the 3 or 4 things that drifted down there during the day. But clearing the floor only holds if the surfaces above it are handled too. And that's exactly where the next routine earns its higher spot. Number 15 is the dry sink. And this is the first one that genuinely surprised me with how much it did. After the last dish at night, I wipe my kitchen sink completely dry with a cloth, bone dry, including the faucet. The Japanese are meticulous about water not being allowed to sit and leave marks. A mindset tied to mizukiri, the careful draining and drying of anything wet. A wet sink grows that gray film, water spots, and slow grime, and it quietly makes the whole kitchen look neglected. A dry, gleaming sink makes the entire kitchen look clean, even with a few dishes in the rack. It costs me 30 extra seconds. But that 30 seconds saves me a scrubbing session every week, and it's the reason I stopped buying those harsh limescale sprays that never worked anyway. A dry sink at night is a promise to your morning self. Still, the sink is only one landing zone, and the next routine tackles the one that ambushes you the second you walk in the door. Number 14 is the landing strip reset, and if you lose your keys, this one's for you. By the door, I keep one small tray, and every evening I empty my pockets and bag into it, then clear anything that shouldn't live there. Keys, wallet, sunglasses, the mail I actually need. In a tidy Japanese entry, everything has a fixed home. A principle called seiton, which means orderly arrangement, keeping what you need where you use it. When the tray resets each night, you never hunt for keys again, and the little pile of receipts and coins never spreads across the whole counter. I used to lose 10 minutes some mornings searching for one thing. Now it's 0. But a tray by the door only handles what you carry. The next routine handles the thing that steals the most peace from your actual mornings, so it ranks higher. Number 13 is prepping the morning station the night before, and it feels almost like leaving a gift for the person you'll be tomorrow. Every evening I set up my tea and coffee spot completely. The cup out, the kettle filled, the spoon ready, the one thing I'll reach for first, placed exactly where my sleepy hand expects it. This mirrors the Japanese habit of preparing tomorrow's first action tonight, so the morning flows without decisions. A cluttered morning counter that you have to clear before you can even make coffee is a small daily defeat. A ready station is a small daily victory, and those victories stack. I noticed my mornings got quieter, less frantic, almost ceremonial. Therefore, the evening isn't just cleanup, it's setup. But some clutter isn't about a station at all. It's the loose stuff that has no home. And that's what the next routine finally solves. Number 12 is the furoshiki fix. And this is where the ideas start getting genuinely clever. A furoshiki is a simple square cloth the Japanese have used for centuries to wrap and carry everything from gifts to groceries. In the evening, I use one to corral the loose, homeless things that gather during the day, the chargers, the small toys, the odd items I don't have time to sort right now. I gather them in the cloth, knot it, and set it in one spot. Instead of 5 little messes scattered around, I have one soft, contained bundle, and my room's instantly red as calm. It buys me time without shoving mess into a junk drawer. A furoshiki costs a few dollars and folds flat to nothing, so even the smallest apartment has room for 3 of them. But wrapping is a holding move, and folding is a finishing move. And before we get to that, I want to share something that quietly changed how I think about all of this. If you find yourself drawn to these ideas, the philosophy behind them goes much deeper than any single routine. I put the complete framework into a digital book called Clear Home, Deep Order, and there is also a fuller edition called The Complete System for those who want everything in one place. These books walk you through the exact thinking behind each habit, so you are not just copying routines, but actually understanding why they work, which means they stick. You can find the details in the description below. Now, with that in mind, let's get back to the routines, because folding is a finishing move, and the next one ranks a notch above. Number 11 is the nightly drawer reset using vertical folding. And yes, this is the folding trick you've heard of, but the evening timing is what makes it powerful. I fold my clothes so they stand upright in the drawer like files, side by side, instead of stacked in a pile. This comes from the tidying tradition made famous by Japanese organizing, where you can see every item at a glance and pull one without collapsing the rest. In the evening, when I put away the day's laundry, I take the extra minute to stand each piece up. The result is a drawer that never becomes an avalanche, and getting dressed the next day takes half the time. I used to restack toppled t-shirts every few days. Now the drawer holds its shape for weeks. But clothes are only part of the daily drift. The thing you carry every single day collects more clutter than any drawer, and the next routine attacks it directly. Number 10 is emptying your bag every night. And I resisted this one hard before it won me over. Every evening, I empty my everyday bag completely. Receipts out, wrappers out, water bottle to the sink, anything that migrated in during the day gets removed and returned to its home. In Japanese homes, the idea of resetting a thing to its clean, neutral state each night runs through everything. A bag that never gets emptied becomes a black hole where important papers vanish and old snacks hide. An emptied bag weighs less, opens cleaner, and you actually find your wallet. It takes under a minute. But here's the honest part. This is the routine that stopped me from carrying around $30 of forgotten receipts and a permanent low hum of dread every time I opened my bag. Still, the bag is personal. The surfaces everyone sees are what the next routine protects. Number 9 is the 2-minute surface wipe. And this is where I want to talk to anyone who thinks they need a cabinet full of cleaning products. I don't. I keep one cloth, and each evening I do a quick wipe of the main surfaces. The table, the counter, the bathroom sink. This ties to mottainai, the Japanese sense of not being wasteful, of respecting what you have and letting one simple cloth do honest work instead of buying 8 sprays. A daily light wipe means grime never builds up, so you never need the heavy chemicals or the scrubbing marathon. 2 minutes a night replaces an hour on the weekend. I felt genuine relief the first time a Saturday came and there was simply nothing to deep clean. That relief is the whole point. But now I want to speak directly to those of you in a rental or a tiny apartment, because the next routine was made for you. Number 8 is for everyone who thinks these ideas only work if you own your home and can knock down walls or drill into every surface. This next one needs no drilling, no renovation, and no landlord's permission at all. In the evening, when I do my reset, everything that needs to hang or stand goes onto freestanding and tension-based storage. A tension rod wedged inside a cabinet holds spray bottles up off the floor. A tension rod under the sink creates a second level. A freestanding shelf that just sits there gives you vertical storage with 0 holes in the wall. Japanese apartments are famously small, often smaller than an American studio, and they master vertical space without permanent fixtures. My evening habit is simply returning each thing to its tension rod or freestanding home, so nothing sleeps on the floor. When you move, it all comes with you, and the walls stay perfect for your deposit. Renting is not a reason to live in clutter, and this proves it. But storage is only useful if things actually go back into it, and that discipline is what the next routine builds. Number 7 is the one in, one out basket at the door, and this is the quiet gatekeeper of my whole home. By my entry, I keep one small basket, and here's the rule I run every evening. When something new comes into the house that day, something old in the same category goes into that basket to leave. A new shirt in, an old shirt to the basket. This is a gentle daily version of danshari, the Japanese decluttering philosophy whose 3 parts mean refusing, disposing, and separating from excess. Most homes fill up because things only ever come in, never out. Running one out for every one in means your home literally cannot overflow. The basket fills slowly, and when it's full, it goes to donation. I stopped needing giant purge weekends entirely, but the basket handles what leaves. The next routine handles what stays. One small zone at a time, which is why it ranks above. Number 6 is the one shelf a night micro declutter, and this is the routine that finally cured me of the overwhelming all-at-once clean-out that never sticks. Instead of dreading a whole room purge, each evening I pick just one small area, one shelf, one drawer, one basket. I spend 3 minutes tidying only that, and then I stop. This slow, steady approach reflects the Japanese respect for small, consistent effort over dramatic one-time overhauls. A whole house feels impossible, so we freeze and do nothing. One shelf feels easy, so we actually do it. And 30 shelves later, the whole home is done, and it stays done because the habit never stops. I felt the difference within 2 weeks. Drawers I'd avoided for years suddenly opening cleanly. Therefore, the trick isn't more effort. It's smaller targets, nightly. But small zones are still about stuff. The next routine reclaims something bigger, an entire room, and it does it every single day. Number 5 is the transforming room. And this one genuinely changed how I think about space. In many Japanese homes, the bedroom is not filled with a permanent bed. People sleep on a futon, a padded mattress that rolls out on the floor at night and gets folded and put away in a closet each morning. The evening version of this for me is simple. I reset the room to its daytime purpose before bed and prepare the sleeping space fresh. That same room becomes a living space by day and a bedroom by night, so a small apartment lives twice as large. Airing the futon also keeps it fresh, part of a long tradition of respecting your bedding. Even if you keep a regular bed, the lesson holds. Clear the surfaces around it each night so the room resets to rest. A bedroom that isn't buried in daytime clutter is a bedroom you actually sleep well in. But reclaiming space is one thing. Making sure nothing ever gets lost again is the promise of the next routine, and it's a big one. Number 4 is the everything has an address reset. And this is the backbone that makes all the others effortless. Every object in my home has one fixed spot, its address, and the entire evening routine becomes simple. I just return each thing to its address. The remote, the scissors, the phone charger, all of it lives in exactly one place. This is seiton fully realized, the idea that order isn't about hiding things. It's about giving each thing a home, so putting it away requires no thinking. When everything has an address, tidying stops being a decision and becomes a reflex. I timed my evening reset once, and it took under 10 minutes for the whole apartment, because I was never wondering where anything went. The hidden cost of no addresses is the hours you lose searching, and the money you waste rebuying things you own but can't find. Fix the addresses once, and every night after is easy. But even a perfectly addressed home can quietly fill up, which is why the next routine is the daily release valve. Number 3 is the nightly release, and this is the routine that keeps my home from ever creeping back toward clutter. Every single evening, I let one thing leave the house for good. Just one. A worn-out pen, a shirt I never wear, a container with no lid, a piece of paper I don't need. This is danshari lived daily, the ongoing practice of separating from what no longer serves you. One item a night sounds like nothing, but it's 365 things a year, leaving without a single stressful purge weekend. My home got lighter, so gradually I almost didn't notice, until one day I realized every drawer closed easily and every closet had breathing room. It also broke the guilt cycle for me, the sense that decluttering had to be this huge emotional event. One small release a night is painless. Therefore, the home stays not just tidy, but genuinely light. But everything I've shared so far manages your things. The next routine, my number 2, is about how the whole home feels the moment you look at it. Number 2 is the family 10-minute reset, and this is the one that turned tidying from a lonely chore into something almost warm. Just before bed, everyone in the home spends 10 minutes resetting their own zones at the same time. In many Japanese households, cleaning is shared and expected, not dumped on one person, rooted in the same spirit as usoji, the deep communal cleaning done at year's end to welcome a fresh start. When one person tidies alone, resentment builds and the work never ends. When everyone resets together for 10 minutes, the whole home returns to neutral in one short, shared burst, and no single person carries it. Even if you live alone, setting a 10-minute timer and racing it works the same magic. It turns an open-ended chore into a quick game with a clear finish. My evenings stopped feeling like an endless shift. 10 minutes, timer off, done. But as good as that is, it's still about doing. My number 1 is about seeing, and it's the one I've been waiting to give you. And here we are, the number 1 evening routine, the one that reset my entire living room in under 60 seconds a night and changed how I feel in my own home more than anything else on this list. I found it while reading about the traditional Japanese room and a feature called the tokonoma, a small recessed alcove that has existed in Japanese homes for around 400 years. In that alcove sits just one thing, a single scroll, or one flower, or one simple object, and around it, deliberate emptiness. That emptiness has a name, ma, the Japanese idea that empty space is not nothing. It's a positive, restful presence that lets the one beautiful thing breathe. Most people outside Japan walk right past this idea because we're taught to fill every surface. I almost missed it too, but here is the routine I built from it, and it costs you less than 1 minute. Each evening I choose one anchor surface in my main room, my coffee table, and I clear it down to a single object. Not tidy, not organized, empty, except for one thing I love, one candle, one small vase, nothing else. The first night I did this, I stood back and felt my shoulders drop. The whole room seemed to exhale. Because your eye needs one place to rest, and when even a single surface is truly empty around one intentional object, your brain reads the entire space as calm, no matter what's happening on the other shelves. It's the opposite of everything the organizing industry sells you, all those bins and dividers and gadgets that just help you keep more stuff. The tokonoma teaches that the luxury isn't the object, it's the empty space around it. So every night, I reset my one anchor surface to that emptiness. And every morning, I walk into a room that feels intentional and serene before I've done another thing. You can try this tonight, this weekend, in any home, rental or owned, large or tiny. Pick one surface. Clear it to a single object. Protect that emptiness every evening. It is the simplest routine on this entire list, and it is the one that made the biggest difference to how my home actually feels. That's why it's number 1. Here's what all 17 of these really give you. And it isn't just neat rooms. It's the feeling of walking through your own front door and exhaling, because nothing is demanding your attention, because the home is already at rest, and so can you be. If you're the kind of person who wants a space that feels effortless and clear, not one you're constantly fighting, then these small evening habits are how you get there, a few quiet minutes at a time. Now I want to hear from you. Which one are you trying first tonight? The dry sink at number 15, the one-item nightly release at number 3, or the empty anchor surface at number 1? Tell me in the comments, and tell me where in the world you're watching from, because I read every single one. And if you want a calmer, simpler home, come join us here. This is a whole community of people making their spaces lighter, one small habit at a time. Because next time, I'm counting down the Japanese morning routines that keep a home tidy all day long. And the number 1 on that list is so simple, you'll wonder why no one told you sooner. I'll be honest, we barely scratched the surface tonight. If you want the deeper version, come inside my membership, the Tidy Home Circle. In there you can ask me your own questions, and I answer you myself. You'll belong among home organizers just like you. Just point your phone's camera at the code on the screen. It only takes a minute, and you can cancel anytime with one click.